All right, I'm going to start my series of lectures on the tools. First is the sword and the Athame. The sword is used for drawing circles and for invoking or banishing spirits of various sorts, angels, demons, ghosts, whatever. And the main tool to do that is you draw pentagrams. Let's talk a little about the Athame first. It's got some symbols on it here. Okay, so the first one looks sort of like a Taurus. Here's a better one. And this represents the horned god and the element of earth. Now the next one is, it's supposed to be an Ankh. It looks more like a Venus symbol, doesn't it? And this, the circle, and even more so the Vesica, represents the goddess. And the cross represents the god. So when you combine them together, it represents the god and goddess conjoined together. Now the S's here, those represent the scourge and the kiss. And this thing that looks sort of like a Pisces symbol represents the waxing and waning moon. There's a common symbology of the waxing, waning, and full moon representing the maiden, mother, and crone. The waxing moon represents the maiden, the full moon represents the mother, and the waning moon represents the crone. And finally, we have this thing that looks sort of like it looks exactly like a Scorpio symbol. Not surprisingly, this is a symbol of death. Now, on the other side, we have this symbol that looks like a couple of people kissing, is what that's supposed to represent. The next one is the power of the horned god going forth. So it looks sort of like a Taurus with an arrow. And the final symbol on the Athame is this 8-pointed thing. Here's a better version of it. So this is a representation of the 8 solar holidays. All right, so the points of the pentagram represent the 5 elements. The bottom left point represents earth. The upper right point represents water. The upper left one represents air, and the lower right one represents fire. So when you're drawing pentagrams, the rule is if you want to get rid of something, you start with the element you want to get rid of, and you move away from that. So to banish earth, you start with earth, and you go up to spirit. That's what this top is spirit. Then you go down to fire and continue around the pentagram till you get back to where you started. So that's the banishing earth pentagram. And that's the most important one. If you only know one pentagram, that's the one to know. It's more important to be able to make things go away than it is to call them in the first place. So make sure you know that one first, the banishing earth pentagram. So if you only know 2 pentagrams, the second one you need to learn is the invoking fire one, which starts up here at spirit with invoking an element. You start somewhere else and you move towards it. So you start with spirit and move towards fire and then continue on around. So that's how you invoke fire. And when you invoke an element,